Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's episode, I am joined by former Quinnipiac women's hockey player Melissa Samoskevich. Melissa helped Team USA to a World Championship gold medal back in 2019, and she is now currently the Director of Player Development and Hockey Operations at Quinnipiac and a professional hockey player with the Connecticut Whale. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, and how's everything going?
Thank you for having me. Things are good. Just kind of closing up with the season, going through some postseason stuff right now. So busy, but not as busy. So it's nice.
That's good. And obviously, Quinnipiac is sort of the spot to be right now regarding hockey. What's it been like on campus? Like, what's the vibe like?
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable buzz. The energy's great around the rink. It's funny. Like by the coaches a ton, so um, they don't stop working. So it's kind of funny how it works. Even though you win, you kind of still grind, and that's kind of what good programs do. So it's kind of cool to see just the success because I think this program has worked towards it so much, and all the dedication, and we see the behind the scenes. So it's kind of cool to finally see the success come to the program. So it's great.
Now, there's a lot of things I want to get into regarding your career. So I thought it would be best to just start from the beginning and sort of work all the way up.
Mhm.
So you're from Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, so I guess I started playing hockey just through my dad. My dad played growing up, like through just high school, and he threw me in skates. And yeah, I remember actually like wanting to play or wanted to be a figure skater because of the dresses. I saw those in the pro shop, so I wanted to be a figure skater at one point, and I stuck with it though. My dad made me stick with it, and it turned out to work out. So pretty grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, we grew up in a small town, Sandy Hook. And I don't know, I love Sandy Hook. I think we all do. It's home, and it always will be. So
Did you have a favorite player growing up? I'm assuming it was either someone on the Rangers, Bruins, Islanders. I don't know who to think you root for when you live in Connecticut because there's so many different teams.
yeah, I mean, we grew up Rangers fans. I've never been to a Rangers game though, just because it was so busy, like our hockey schedule. So it never worked out, and just something to do on the bucket list. But I would say like a men's player that I always liked in high school was Chris Letang. I was a D in high school actually, like for 2 years. So I liked Letang a lot. But also I grew up like loving Angelo Ruggiero, Chrissy Wendell. So those were kind of like my female role models. So
Yeah, I've
yeah,
never been to a Rangers game myself, but I have been to Madison Square Garden to see a college hockey game, and it's a great building. So if you ever have the chance to go, I highly recommend it.
yeah, I have to for sure.
Now, it's obviously very well known that you're a part of one of the biggest hockey families in the U.S. Your younger brother, Mackie, played for Michigan and helped them to two Frozen Four appearances, and he's now obviously with the Florida Panthers organization. And your younger sister, Maddie, is currently with Quinnipiac, and she has helped them to two national tournament appearances in the last 2 years. So my question is, what's it like growing up in a hockey family, especially being the older sister leading your two younger siblings and sort of helping them along their path, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, it's amazing, like it's kind of crazy to, see how much success we've had because, growing up, you don't really, you hope for the best for everybody, but you don't necessarily know the whole scope of things until it happens. So, I'm proud, like I am a proud big sister. And I'm also really grateful. Without our parents, we wouldn't be where we are today. They gave us so much, and all the resources, the driving, day in and day out. They lived and breathed our hockey schedule. And I know it wasn't easy, but I'm sure it's well worth it for them because I know they're proud as well. But yeah, it's an honor. It's like one of the best honors that I'll probably ever have in my life.
Yeah. Do you guys ever chirp each other a little bit though on the dinner table? Like, does Maddie ever say to you that she has more tournament appearances than you did at Quinnipiac? I'm assuming that stuff still goes on.
Not yet. I honestly believe that Maddie, those types of things go right over her head. Like she has a lot of things on me, but she doesn't. I don't know if she realizes it, but Maddie's honestly usually the punching bag at the dinner table. Maddie is, we chirp Maddie a lot, and she takes it. Mackie and I don't take it well, but Maddie takes it, and um, I give her a lot of props because she gets destroyed.
Yeah, I'm the younger sibling as well, so I can't really take the heat sometimes. So that's kind of you don't usually see that from the youngest sibling. I feel like it's the opposite from well, usually it's the oldest or middle child.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mackie and I are just too stubborn. It's we're too. I know I'm too sensitive, so and
Yeah.
I can say that. So
Now, before college hockey, you played for Shattuck St. Mary's. Talk about how you got the opportunity to go over there.
yeah, so I knew like just going through the process, I knew that I played boys hockey up until eighth grade. So I knew that eventually I'd have to play girls hockey, and at that point, like the prep school route was kind of the way to go in order to play with the best and compete with the best. So I was looking at different New England prep schools, and I ended up doing a visit out at Shattuck. And I remember it was like in the middle of winter time. The girls practice at like 6 a.m. So I remember waking up, it was freezing, and I went to this tryout at 6 a.m. and it was so cool. Like I remember the visit, it was just, a big part of the culture out there obviously is hockey, and you play a long season and you do go to school. A lot of people think that we don't go to school, but we went to school. And yeah, it felt right. So and I knew that I wanted to go there, even though it was far away from home. It was well worth it. So
Yeah, it's kind of weird because most players I talk to, they're sort of living far away from home, in college, but in high school, they're sort of close at home. But for you, it was the complete opposite.
yeah, yeah, a complete opposite. And now I'm like a homebody through and through. Yeah, now I like love being by my family and home. So it's funny how it happened.
Now, what's it like going to that school and being a part of that historical program? Because obviously there's a lot of legendary players that have went there, like Crosby, McKinnon, Brianna Decker, Amanda Kessel. Do you sort of feel any pressure to sort of continue that legacy, or is that something you guys don't really think about?
Yeah, for sure. I think that the biggest thing is, you know, just having a lot of pride and being an alum there. Especially like with my both my siblings going there, like that's a cool thing to share with them. But yeah, it just we're lucky to be able to say we went to Shattuck, because not everybody gets that opportunity. But also, it's like a family there. So whether you know the alumni or not, it's you feel like you've known each other because you lived that lifestyle and you went through it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel really lucky and proud to be a part of that legacy.
Now, how did your time at Shattuck help prepare you for college hockey, and what's the best memory you have from Shattuck when you look back on it now?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think any, prep school like helps, college student athletes prepare for, um, for their freshman year. But um, I would say like the biggest thing you learn how to do is like balance with your time management. Like it's cliche to say, but it's so true. It's hard to do, balancing hockey, balancing school and your social life. um, that's hard to do. It's something that you learn in prep school if you go to prep school. And I was lucky enough to where hockey it was just a grind, and college is a grind. So I kind of learned how to embrace that and live that every day. And I think it definitely helped coming into college. But I would say my favorite hockey memory. It's a fun fact because even though Shattuck doesn't, they win like national championships every year. None of the Samoskevich have won one,
Oh, wow.
which is like we're always like, oh, it's a curse, it's a curse, it's a curse. But yeah, I mean, I would say like one of those if I won one, but I never did. I mean, hockey memory, I have so many like great times, from that time in my life. But I remember like one that I have a lot of photos from that sticks out is like senior night, or senior day, I should say. Like it's when all of the seniors, boys and girls, they get together and they have this ceremony. And that was a pretty cool, um, day just because I had some of my best friends still from Shattuck that I still speak to are a lot of them are boys. So I was really close with those guys. And we were never like on the ice together, playing games. So to get that moment and kind of, wow, we made it to senior year was pretty cool. So there are so many memories though. I don't know. I can't name one, I guess.
Now, one thing you did win before college hockey was you played for Team USA in the U18 World Championships, where you won a silver and gold medal back in 2014 and 2015. Talk about the opportunity getting the chance to represent your country and win a gold medal, nonetheless being representing your country. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean I feel like I was so young then, like you don't really grasp how lucky you are. Because now like I see I recruit and I work with, you know, athletes that age at points in my, coaching career now. So it's like, wow, you are so lucky to be here. You are unbelievable. Like in the hockey just keeps getting better too, which is, another eye-opening thing for me. But yeah, I mean, to wear the jersey every time I did, camp jersey, game jersey, regardless any roster I was on, it was always just an honor. Like, and it's so cliche to say, but it is like you don't understand, the kind of, I don't know, the weight behind it, but I don't know, it's really cool. I miss that time, just the camaraderie within the group and um, with the U18 team and the national team, like it's just it trickles down. You watch your role models play, and then suddenly you're playing next to them at some point, and that was amazing. So, yeah, I'll cherish that time in my life forever. So it was great.
Now, talk about your recruiting process with Quinnipiac and what made you want to play there versus other schools you might have looked at.
Yeah, so I guess I knew I wanted to come play on the East Coast just from being away at Shattuck for my high school years. But I mean, I remember doing different tours, of different places around. And when I stepped on campus, I remember like somebody told me this at Shattuck, one of the older girls. They're like, "You're just gonna know. You're gonna get a feeling. You're gonna know that's where you want to go to college." And I got that feeling when I stepped on campus, and I'll never forget it. I know exactly where I was standing, and it just felt great. The facilities. I was recruited by, at the time, our assistant coaches, Cass Turner and Paul Nemetz Carlton, and they're actually married. And it turned out that Cass ended up being my head coach when I got to Quinnipiac, and it was amazing, just my whole experience. But yeah, I fell in love with coaches, facilities, and just the school in general, and it was close to home, so I was able to go back and forth and spend time with family as often as I could. So it was great.
That's awesome. And what was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it the speed of the game or just, I guess, the physicality since it's a lot more physical along the boards? But I know a lot of players say it's just the sort of the decision making you have since you have less time and space with the puck. I mean, just want to ask what sort of stood out to you when you started playing college hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say like the speed of the game and the strength of the players was way different. I had like a really great senior year at Shattuck. I was lucky to like play with great players and just perform well. So when you're that young and you're a little naive, honestly, like I was so naive and I was I was confident, but I always strive to be as humble as possible. But I remember being like so excited to play college hockey because I had a great senior year, and I realized that when I started my freshman year, that college hockey is hard, and I don't think like great players know that, and so it was an adjustment just to, yeah, definitely the speed of the game and decision making, but also like playing to your team's identity. We in youth hockey, you don't have like a super, some teams might, but I mean, we did at Shattuck, but the detail that, goes into college hockey is pretty insane, and it works, and as long as you buy in and, learning to buy in and that lifestyle was an adjustment, but so worth it. And I'm happy I I got through it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously you got to play in one of the best conferences in the country in the ECAC. What was it like playing those top teams every single weekend? Teams like Harvard, Clarkson, obviously Cornell. Talk about what it was like going against those top players and teams throughout your college hockey career.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I remember just, and it was it was definitely fun, but it's hard. I don't think like people necessarily, maybe they do now, but I don't know if people realize like how gritty the ECAC is, and um, the game itself, all around women's hockey has gotten better. So the players have just gotten more skilled, no matter what league you're in. Hockey is getting better, and it's amazing to see. Um, but yeah, when you beat good teams, it was so rewarding. And especially like a road weekend to like Clarkson, St. Lawrence, Colgate, Cornell, those road sweeps were just like, and you just had a feeling of elation. Like it was so unbelievable. And those moments are like those celebration moments are the moments that you remember with your buddies. You don't really necessarily maybe remember every goal or every play, but you remember the bus ride home and those fun celebration moments. So yeah, I mean it was, I would say it's the best league in college hockey, but everybody thinks that their league's the best. So
I
really,
think it's between the WCHA and ECAC, but I guess WCHA has the nod right now since they have the most recent national champion.
yeah, for sure. And they have so many great teams, and the competition it's great all across the board, right? Like so I think it's awesome that, our national championship tournament is, we get to play different teams, and our schedule in the regular season allows us to get teams from other conferences, because those games are also like super fun because
Yeah.
you don't see them all the time and or every year. So um, it's definitely cool and rewarding when you do beat those guys too. But
Yeah. And Quinnipiac's one of the few teams to say that they did beat Wisconsin this past year when they won the national championship. So you guys at least can say that.
yeah, that was a cool moment for our program. I know that our girls were on the team were super, fired up for that moment, but like as an alum to see how far our program has come, I remember like tearing up in the press box because it was like, wow, we have come so far as a program, and know that you're a part of it was like it was really cool to see. But yeah.
Now, your freshman year, you were on one of the best teams in the country, only losing 3 games. How did your team maintain that consistency throughout the season, and how did you guys handle the pressure of being one of the top ranked teams in the country with the target on your back?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like a big contributor to that team itself was our leadership. I remember like our captains and our seniors were they just took us all under their wings, and showed us the way. And that's kind of what I like to say, like that's what Quinnipiac does. Like they build great leaders, but I'm sure naturally college hockey does that on a lot of teams. So it's just my experience with Quinnipiac is special to me. So I would say our leaders, like they led the way, and as a freshman, you don't realize like what you're doing in that moment and how hard it is to only lose 3 games. So I think in the moment I was like, all of us, our freshmen, were just like, this is great. Like, wow, like, is this normal? And then as you go on sophomore, junior year, like, and you lose, and it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. Um, but it's part of the process, right? Like, and now our team does have tons of success, and um, I do believe that all the alumni, years and years and years ago, were a part of the success of every single Quinnipiac team. So um, yeah, I don't know. That was a special year, but I don't know. You don't realize how hard it is.
Yeah.
So
And you guys won the ECAC championship that year. I wanted to ask you what it was like winning that championship and what it means to you now, since it was like one of the only trophies that you ever won. I think it was the only ECAC championship you ever won in your playing career.
yes, it was. That was a sweet moment because we were on home ice. So my whole family was in the stands. So like they like filled like half a section almost, which was amazing just because, I came back to the East Coast to do college close to family, and to have their support and their, love in the stands. It was amazing. But yeah, I mean, just I think for the program that trophy was is a special one. And we're chasing another one, so it's gonna happen soon. I know it, but we'll just keep working at it.
And that also meant you got to play in your first NCAA tournament game. This one was against Clarkson, and obviously you ended up beating Clarkson to win that ECAC championship the week prior before your first tournament game. Even though you lost, what'd you take away from that game and your first tournament experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it was just that was a moment where it was just anybody beats anybody. And that college hockey's hard. And I'll never forget that game. The puck dropped, the music was still playing on our jumbotron, and suddenly a puck was in the net. And that was the only goal scored all game. Clarkson scored, and it was like a few seconds into the game, and it was just a battle that whole game, and nobody scored besides that goal. Um, so yeah, I would just say like even though we beat them, whatever the week before, it doesn't matter. And that shows in every game. I think anybody can beat anybody, and it proves that college hockey ain't easy. So
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I think Clarkson won the national championship that year, so at least you lost to the best team in the country.
yeah, they did. So we definitely felt a little bit better, but not.
Yeah. Now, during your junior year, you were named captain of the team. What type of leadership did you want to bring to the team? Were you a vocal leader or lead by example type of player?
Yeah, I mean, so that my junior year, I was a co-captain with Alicia Berry. She was a senior, I was a junior. And I thought we were a great pair. In that scenario, like I was one of the more vocal leaders, but um, Alicia was, her name is Diggy. We call her Diggy, not Alicia, so it's weird for me to say that, but um, Diggy was a great problem solver and a unbelievable thinker. And at that point in my, development as a leader and as a person, I wasn't the best critical thinker. And you need those skills to be a good leader. And I thought we teamed together, perfectly, and led the team well, just with our different skill sets. So it was a good pairing, and I miss those days with Dig. So
Now, something that happened during your junior year at Quinnipiac was you won your second Nutmeg Classic. What was it like playing in that tournament and winning the trophy for the second time, especially being from Connecticut, winning the Connecticut Trophy? That must be a lot of fun as well.
yeah, I mean it was the Nutmeg is always a cool time of year for us, just because it's a chance to win another championship before the end of the year. So it gives us kind of the opportunity to prepare like we're going to win and something, and have that pressure on us, because a lot of teams don't get that, that experience every single year, and we're lucky that we do. So it's always nice, the bragging rights, but also just, the camaraderie amongst your team to win something. It's always a great feeling, and, fun to celebrate. So,
Now, you were talking about how college hockey was such a shock for you your freshman year, but I felt like just looking at the stats that you made a lot of improvements from your sophomore year to your junior year. What did you do during the season to make such improvements? And talk about like the improvements that you did make throughout your college hockey career.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the, progress is made in the off season. Just physically at least, and mentally, honestly. Our strength coach here, Brajesh Patel, Coach B, he's like just another point of our staff. He's another coach, even though he's not on the ice all the time, he's another coach, and he helps us and our athletes get better every single day, no matter what. And um, a lot of, whether it's just his strength training programs, or the mental side of things, he pushes us to be the best that we can, and he pushes us to be really uncomfortable. And he wants us to be comfortable in that. He wants us to be comfortable being uncomfortable. He says it all the time, and we are. And it's an adjustment at first, but I think those moments are the moments that um, you know allow you to translate, the hard times, to make them easy in the game. But I mean, I would say, like, personally for my game, like the coaching staff and my teammates, we had a goal and we had standards and expectations, and we played a certain way, and it was a well-rounded way. There was no one player was, able to do their own thing. And so I think, building those details and those habits and just that kind of way of play that Quinnipiac plays, it allowed me to be a well-rounded player. I was still able to do my thing and be offensive and skilled and have fun with the puck, but I was able to learn how to be a 200-foot player, and I take a lot of pride in that because as a coach now, when I am recruiting or coaching, it's frustrating when you don't have a player that can play both ways and typically Quinnipiac players, end their career in that style of play. So yeah, I don't know. It's a great place, and I'm very lucky to gone through the program and gotten better throughout my time. So
You know he's a good strength and conditioning coach when I've heard about him before. I heard he's one of the best in the country, so
yeah,
that's good for you guys for getting one of the best.
yeah, everybody raves about him. So he's awesome.
Now you played your final college hockey game against Clarkson in the ECAC playoffs, and that game went into overtime, and you guys unfortunately lost that game. What emotions were you feeling after playing your final college hockey game? And I guess looking back on it now, how have you reflected in your time from your playing career at Quinnipiac, and what do you take away from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I remember just, being so defeated in that moment because that was a pretty close game. I think I remember us, I think we came back and, it was a tied game and maybe we were going to go into overtime, I think, and they scored another goal. It was like a crazy goal. It was like I think we were in a D zone face off, and I remember it just like yesterday. And we were like, oh, they can't score. We cannot let them score. And they scored. That was a good team that year for Clarkson. So, um, yeah, I'll never forget it. It was a sad, sad day. um, but I don't know. You no, regardless, you don't really remember those moments a whole lot. You remember more, the times with your teammates. So, those are the moments I try to remember. um, but yeah, I mean, as I reflect on my time at Quinnipiac, I'm just so grateful. And I continue to be grateful because, I work with the program now and the opportunity I have to work with this team that, Cass and the staff, gives me now. So forever grateful for this place and proud to be a part of the program. So many great connections that I have and great friends that are forever, lifelong friends that I'll take with me throughout life. So yeah, I'm just super lucky.
Yeah, I want to ask you, what's it been like being back with the program and working for Quinnipiac? And do you hope to continue to work in hockey even after your playing career is finished?
Yeah, I think I do. I definitely, hockey is my life. It always has been. So you always think about like, what if you did something different? And it's hard. I just don't know what that would look like. So yeah, I mean, I think I would like to continue to, stay in the game, coaching, operations, whatever it is, as we go, as I go throughout life. But um, it's fun. It's awesome to be, with my alma mater, but also, with my sister. So that's a fun part of the job as well.
Yeah, I heard that that how you said Maddie's kind of the punching bag at the dinner table, that the teammates like to play jokes on Maddie as well. Is that true?
Yes, I think it is true. She's an easygoing gal, and
Mhm.
um, she does some things that she's easy to make fun of at times. And I don't know, I obviously I'm biased. I love her. She's my sister, but there's a lot of Maddie moments that I have written down in my phone that are
That's awesome.
just question mark moments like what did you just say, what just came out of your mouth. But yeah, she takes it well, so you have to give her props.
Yeah, that must be cool though, because I'm assuming you guys never played with each other on the same team. So the game of sort of being part of the same team now must be really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely special, like just to see each other every day. You don't see when I was, whether I was at Penn State or um when we were split up at Shattuck and I was here, and we just never saw each other as much as we do now. And our relationship has gotten so much better just because we lean on each other and we help each other out. But there's also a line I do draw, like with being a staff member on her team. So it's a fun balance to have, and I'm definitely not complaining about it.
So we're now in the segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some rapid-fire non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. So my first one is, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh my God. Oh gosh. Anyone in the world? I would maybe say Serena Williams, just the boss ass lady, Sorry, swear on the podcast.
You can say whatever you want.
But yeah, that'd be a cool one.
What is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Oh, interesting. I don't really read a whole lot. I saw I don't know if you saw this, but I was watching the news. There was a police chase, and a pizza man tripped the the thief, and the cops caught him. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did not see that. That's pretty cool.
yeah, you got to look that one up. It's a good video.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing that I saw, it's a bit sad, but it was like a documentary about the Boston Marathon bombing and like how they caught the two guys. And I just thought that was interesting because I
I
didn't know
haven't
much
watched that.
about it. And I just thought that was pretty interesting and just sort of getting the background on the whole situation. And it's pretty scary. I remember living through it. So that I thought that was interesting to watch.
Yours is better than mine. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, mm, mm. I would say maybe when somebody's in my passenger seat in my car and they touch my AC or my radio. It's
Yeah,
I don't want any, but I'm a control freak.
I get that. I get that.
It's mine.
And then the last non-hockey question is, which teammate that you played with had the best pregame style? Because I feel like Quinnipiac goes all out for that now, but I'm curious if there was anyone back when you played that had some really good pregame outfits.
Back when I played, we wore black pants and a Quinnipiac hockey quarter zip. So we had no creativity. I didn't want the creativity either. I liked the way that I knew exactly what I was going to wear for every game day. I didn't have to think about it. So I would say maybe, if I had to pick, shoe game back in the day, Tori DeAngelis was on my team. She was a year older than me. She always had sick shoes. But then again, we had to wear black shoes, so there wasn't a lot of room
Yeah.
for the creativity like there is now with our girls.
Well, getting back to some hockey questions now, I guess the first one, one of the last ones I want to ask you is, what should be done to help grow women's hockey, from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about getting our coverage out there and showing our game because it's getting so much better, from literally the grassroots to our national team and our pro league. Like there's so much. It's amazing hockey, and I don't think people realize it because they don't watch it, and it's not shown as on TV as much. And just to, get our game out there and get people to the games. I think it's going to be eye-opening for a lot of people, and from there we can expect to receive more more for our sport. But yeah, I mean it's definitely an exciting time. Like we're growing and we're getting better every year, so that's what you can ask for. But yeah, it's exciting, and I'm excited for the game to see where it goes.
Well, do you have any shout outs you want to give to your family members, teammates, friends? Feel free to do that now.
Oh, shout outs. I would maybe shout out to my parents. And just say, I don't know if they'll listen to this. The technology isn't their thing, but
I hope they will.
I'll send it to them for sure. Make it easy on them. But thank you to them. Without, I wouldn't probably be on this podcast without them. All the opportunities I've had in life. They've done everything for us. So we appreciate them tremendously, and I love them tremendously as well. Very grateful, always.
Well, I've had you on the podcast. I've had Maddie on the podcast. When's Mackie coming on?
You got to get Mackie. You got to get him soon. You got to get him soon. That's probably maybe at the end of his season you can get him.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, good luck to him. And is he in the age? He's going to play in the AHL playoffs, right?
Yep, I think they have a game tonight. And they played on Tuesday night, so it's a fun time. We're still watching hockey, which is always, a fun thing to do at the end of April.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like Rand Packnell said, when you're playing hockey, when the weather's warm, you know you're doing something right.
Exactly, that's right. So,
Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. It means so much to myself, and I wish you and your team nothing but the best for the future. And I know Quinnipiac is the women's side is going to do what the men's side did this year at some point in the near future. So I'm looking forward to the success that you guys have. You have a really good team and a lot of good people and players on your team as well.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me and, taking the time to do this because I think, things like this also, they spread our game too. So thank you for doing this and taking your time, and dedicating it to getting, different players, points of view and insights out. So, um, appreciate you as well. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much.